What's up, everybody? Colin here, founder of Wild Foods Co. and theancestralmind.com. Today's video, short clips on how to be successful. These are things that come to the top of my head, the big things that are most important, that are most in my consciousness about things that I've done that have gotten me success, and some things to avoid that have wasted a ton of time and money that I've learned the hard way. Let's get to it. Okay, number one, focus. That means turn your phone off, turn the distractions off, turn Slack off, turn anything off that you need to so you can do the thing. There's a story of a writer, he would take a laptop, he glued the Ethernet port closed so that he couldn't get on the internet, so that was the computer he used to write, because there is too much distraction, and as human creatures, we get drawn to distraction. It's hard for us to just focus on one thing only, but that is where you get the results, is when you go into that deep workflow state. It's number one. Number two, focus on profit. You have your expenses, you have your income. Focus on what you have left over. And most people don't think about profit in their personal lives. If they have a business, then they understand that I need to make money, I need to have profit, right? But what about your personal life? You have your expenses, you have your income, whatever that happens to be, even if you're an employee. What do you have left over at the end of every month? Most people either don't know that number or they go into the red every month. So they accumulate debt. And the thing about most of this debt is, especially credit card debt, it actually gets bigger, right? It gets bigger in the wrong way. If you're investing and you get compound interest, it's getting bigger in the right way. But most people, it gets bigger in the wrong way because they add debt and then they pay interest on that debt, which adds more to it. It's a snowball that's going in the wrong direction. Focus on profit. Read a lot of books, not just articles. Don't just listen to podcasts. These are all useful things, but make sure you're reading books. Books have been edited. They've been proofread, usually a lot of times. They've been approved by, certain gatekeepers. It just means that the quality is generally higher than an article you can write and post up in an afternoon, okay? So read books, especially some of the best books, the classic books, the books that have been reviewed by thousands of people, millions of people that have sold the most copies. Read those books, okay? And then read other books to complement the ideas and pursue your interests and pursue things that you're curious about, okay? The more you can read, the more successful you're gonna be, just the way it is. Every time you go somewhere, listen to Audible, okay? Or audiobooks or scribe.com, which is an amazing service. It's like $9 a month it's like a Netflix of books, basically. And when I leave here and I walk downstairs in my car, it's probably 3 minutes of walking, okay? But if I put my AirPods in, and I have my Bluetooth going on my phone, and I press an audiobook on 1.5 to 2x speed, from here to there, I will have read, at least a couple hundred words, maybe, in a book format, probably a few pages. And if I decide to walk around the block, so I want to get some sun and exercise, I'll have listened to a whole chapter. This can change your life. This habit of just going to and fro, driving, etc., on your downtime, doing the dishes, listening to an audiobook, doing just that, I'm able to read over 100 books a year. It can literally change your life. Don't neglect your sleep. People that think they'll sleep when they're dead, when you go without sleep, and there's tons of research that proves this, your output, your focus, all the things that make you successful goes to shit. You cannot forego sleep. In fact, the more sleep you get and the more well-rested you are, the more everything else goes up. So you might think you save an hour every night, but then the whole day, the whole 16 or 17 waking hours you have is at a lower level. If you were to increase that by an hour or two, and this is what it is for most people, most of us will sleep 5 to 6 hours at least, and then it's those extra couple hours that we either try to shortchange or that it's kind of hard falling back to sleep or whatever it is. But if you could get those extra couple hours in, it makes the whole 14 to 18 extra waking hours that much better. It's not even close to a comparison. It's usually 1 or 2 hours that most people don't get that can affect the whole 16 waking hours of the day. Get a investing mindset. Invest versus spend. And this is true of time and money, okay? So when you invest your money in something, you put it into this thing or you buy things to build this or make it better, whatever it is, because the idea is that it will then bring you a return later on. Now, this is easy to understand if you put money in an IRA, like, is this going to grow with interest? But what about investing in your business? What about investing in your personal skills? If you're going to spend money in training, or you're going to spend money in books, or if you're going to spend money in courses, right? That money will outflow right now. It will be an expense, but it will make you better so that your earning power will go up. And then so that in the next, X years of your life, you're that much smarter, you're that much more effective, you're just that much better. And that is the idea of spending versus investing. Most people spend money on entertainment or drugs or food or whatever to get a temporary high. There's a time and place for that, right? We have to enjoy life, sure. But most people take it too far, and most people don't understand the difference. Get in the mindset of investing into you and your current situation so that in the future you get more results. Use time to your advantage, especially when it comes to other people. Employees, coworkers, significant others, mothers, brothers, sisters, whatever. When you have issues with other people, the number one thing that you can do to make it a better outcome is to give it more time. What do we do when we hear someone talking about us, or someone caused some drama or did something, or an employee made a mistake? We feel the urge to have to go and solve it immediately, right? And then as a result, we're usually more angry, we're usually a little bit more on edge, and we usually come off a little bit more harsh. And all that does is like adding gasoline to a fire. Instead, you should let the fire slowly die out because the oxygen is being sucked into the room. Give it time to die out. Let it run out of fuel. Then go. You will be better. You'll approach it better. You'll have maybe more data will have come to you. Maybe there'll be a valid explanation for things. A lot of times there is an explanation. But in the beginning, right when it comes up, we don't always know what that is. So give people time, give yourself time. It's going to be a better outcome through and through. Take a walk every day, ideally middle of your day, to break up your workday. This is a secret of, maybe not so much a secret, but it's a not well known fact of all the geniuses in history. They always took walks, whether it was Einstein, Bach, Beethoven, Fromm, what was the other psychologist? I forgot his name, the German, Nietzsche. They all took walks. And what they did is they took a walk without a phone. Now, I think you should be taking walks nowadays. You should also be listening to Audible, but at times you should also walk, ideally in nature, without anything. Just let your mind, let your subconscious go. Either tackle a problem or just say, I'm not gonna think about anything. Almost like a moving meditation. This can have profound effects on your psyche, on your creativeness, and also just on de-stressing, like giving yourself a break, okay? Take daily walks. It's also really good to take a walk after you eat. Really good for digestion. Answer this question. Do you want to be successful, or do you want people to think you're successful? Because the former is gonna be about not wasting your money on stupid shit, on cars and clothes and all these things that you don't need, especially designer stuff that all you're doing is paying and making someone else rich so that you can have people think you're rich or whatever it is. Get over that. Stop worrying about what other people think about you. Stop living your life based on what you hope people will think about you. It's all an illusion. It's all a scam. It's a life scam. It's the biggest scam that our current society falls into. You need to get out of that mindset. You need to focus on you and building and delivering value and becoming the best version of you as possible. And then you'll actually get the recognition that you deserve, and it will be earned instead of buying shit to try to impress people. And if you really look at it, there's designer things everywhere. They don't actually mean anything, right? And they've actually shown that the rich now are trying to spend their money on like experiences and other status symbols rather than just buying fancy designer stuff, because a lot of the poor and middle class started buying all these designer products, and the rich was like, well, I don't want this anymore because it doesn't show people that I'm rich or whatever. Long topic for another day, but get out of the mindset of worrying about what other people think and trying to impress people, because usually it's a waste of time, it's a waste of money, and it's a waste of energy. Get a piece of paper, get a pen that you can write with well. I had to test a lot of pens to figure that out for myself, and I found a pen that I love and I stick with it, okay? And write out pros and cons, write out ideas, write out things you're struggling with, doodle, let your subconscious go. Let your hand write things, right? If you're trying to work through a difficult decision, write it down, write each side. This simple habit is something that we don't do as much as we should, and it's super powerful, and it can help you tremendously. We think we can think about things in our head. We think we can just make a decision or we'll let it marinate or whatever. But a lot of times the very act of putting it to paper can have profound effects, can have therapeutic effects. That's why, they recommend journaling for victims and things like that, okay? Pen and paper is super powerful. Do it.